Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday night. Janet Parks here. I am so excited to be diving in this evening with you guys, giving you some tips and some helpful habits that you're going to want to start thinking about incorporating into 2024. I'm excited to chat with you. If you're brand new, my name is Janet Parks. I'm the CEO and founder of Solutions for Sellers. We help online sellers just like you simplify the way that they do business online with simple strategies, simple content tools, and of course, amazing trainings like these. So we are so excited to have you here right around the holidays. We've got big things coming up, and I just can't wait to dive into it. Some of the things that you really want to start thinking about, right, when it comes to closing out your year strong and going into your new year with new intentions, right? With setting intentions for your year. How do you plan ahead of time, right? A lot of times what we tend to do is we tend to willy-nilly our business, right? Comment below if this sounds like you, if you tend to be the person that just kind of gets things done last minute. Maybe you're a little bit of a procrastinator. Maybe you're not as organized as you could be. Listen, there's no judgment here. I just want to let you know if you feel any of those categories in, there's no judgment. However, you do have an opportunity to change that. Okay. If you didn't get the best results this year, then you want to make sure that when you're going into the new year, you want to start thinking about what can I be doing differently so that I don't have a repeat of this year, right? I don't have a repeat of, maybe failed attempts at certain things in my business or just not having my business organized the way that I could. Comment below, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you feel like you're at organization wise in your business? Do you feel like you're a 10 where you're super organized, you're planning for 2024, you've got everything kind of ready to go, you are looking ahead for the future, you've got your goals mapped out, you know exactly what you're launching in 2024, what you're going to be focusing in on, your top priorities, your tasks are there. Like if you're just on it, 10 out of 10, comment below. If you're not on it, again, I'm not asking you that question to make you feel bad. That's okay. All right. Make sure to comment below. Just let me know. Maybe you're a 5. Maybe you're kind of in the middle. Maybe you've started thinking about 2024. Maybe you started thinking about your goals, but you're having trouble just kind of mapping it out. You're having trouble envisioning what it is that you want from your business. Maybe you're not leveraging the right tools right now, and you're just dumping a lot of time, energy, effort into things that aren't necessarily growing your business. So, regardless of where you're at, again, no judgment. I will just tell you really quickly, when I first started in this business, there wasn't business school. There was no direct sales business school, okay? There was nothing really out there that could help you organize, and you kind of just went into it blind, right? You have your lunch party, you have your upline, you have all the things, then you start building over time and you realize everything else you have to kind of figure out. There isn't a memo where something's due on the next day. There isn't anybody that's going to be there knocking at your door to tell you, hey, it's time to work on your business today. It's up to us. And this is what makes it even more challenging, is not only do we have to work on our business ourselves, there isn't necessarily much of a guideline out there, right? Aside from like courses and trainings that you've taken and maybe some guiding points that you've heard from people, from trainers, right? From influencers here and there. But overall, this is why this training is so important. You need a starting point, okay? You need a starting point, and it really all starts with preparing ourselves for the new year, knowing ahead of time what we're actually doing and how to get ourselves set up. And then that last one that I want to kind of toss in there is making sure that we're not taking our bad habits or habits that really didn't work very well for us and making a mirror image of this year into next year. Okay. Who would love to have an incredible 2024 where your business is growing, you're getting more results, your skill set is getting a little bit more fine-tuned, right? You're feeling more confident. Maybe you're starting to see more results in your cash flow. If this sounds like you, then this training is going to be for you, okay? I've lined out four tips that I want to relay to you that are going to be so important. And these essentially are habits that you want to start taking with you into 2024. Now, if you had an incredible year in 2023, congratulations to you. I am like giving you a virtual high five here. I'm so proud of you. Okay. But however, okay, we still want to start planning for 2024. And now maybe this is the time where you really want to start thinking about, how can I take this up another level? I did phenomenal in 2023. How do I take 2024 by storm and have my best year yet? So let's chat about it. Okay. I've got four of these tips here that I want to share with you that I think are going to make a huge difference in your business. So again, comment below with some Christmas emojis if you guys are excited to hear about it. These are, I think, essential for growth. I think they're essential for getting yourself into the next level. I think they're also essential for those of you that struggled this year and maybe we along the way subconsciously develop some bad habits in our self dialogue, in our personal development, in the way that we ran our business online, working harder, not smarter, right? So I'm going to be diving into these things. Okay. So let's start with the very first one here. I'm going to go ahead and dive in. I'm not going to make this a super duper long training, but I do want to make sure that it's impactful for you guys. So the first one is, let's talk about the most important thing before we can ever start planning for 2024, before we can start envisioning so that we can start reigniting, right? The first thing is, we want to be able to have the ability to reflect, identify, and then reverse engineer. Reflect, identify, and then reverse engineer. Okay, that's number one. So when it comes to this is basically how you break this down. All right. You first want to start asking yourself, and this is something that I learned from my mentor, from one of my mentors. And this is something that I have been doing on a daily basis for as long as I can remember now. And it really is the reason why we've been able to scale our business. We've been able to grow our business. When you're not incorporating this habit, you can't possibly see where your growth opportunities are. You have to be able to reflect. So here are some simple ways that you can reflect. Number one, ask yourself on a daily basis, when you do your power hours, when you're posting your content, when you're having your conversations, posting in your VIP group, when you are socializing, engaging with people on social media, okay? Any strategies that you've incorporated, regardless of how much or how little you did, you always want to ask yourself, what went well? What didn't? Okay. What went well and what didn't go well? Okay. And then identify what you can do to create a better result. All right. So those three questions are what you want to ask yourself on a pretty consistent basis. If you're not self-analyzing without the self-sabotaging, all right, there's a difference between self-analyzing and self-sabotaging. You don't want to self-sabotage because that's not productive. You want to self-analyze, okay? If you're not self-analyzing on a consistent basis, then how can you possibly grow, right? You got to really ask yourself that question. So I like to ask myself, okay, end of my workday, right? I wrote out my tasks for what I'm going to get done the next day before I ended my workday. But then I sit down and I think, what went well today? Well, let's compliment ourselves. Let's give ourselves a little bit of dopamine. I posted my content today. Yay! Right? Let's celebrate that. That's what went well. Maybe I started some new conversations with people that were on my chicken list. Maybe I followed up with people that I hadn't followed up with in a while, right? Those are just some general examples of you really looking at what went well. Yes, you need to be able to compliment yourself. You need to be able to reward yourself. You need to be able to say, hey, I did this right. Okay. Because your psyche, your mindset, you need to be able to develop those wins for those of you that are struggling to find any wins in what you're doing. Okay. The next thing is, what didn't go well? This is the part where a lot of you guys will do this wrong, because a lot of you say, well, I suck at recruiting, or I suck at this, or I don't know how to do that, or I'm not great at this, right? Or I'm just, I realized I was spammy today. We're not going to talk to ourselves in that way. All we're doing is taking a look at what we did, okay? And we're asking ourselves, what didn't go well? what necessarily didn't pan out for ourselves, okay? And you can do this for your whole year, by the way. If you want to take this into a lump sum, take some time to reflect on what went well for you this year and then what just didn't quite hit the mark for you this year. Then sit down and be honest. Write it out on a piece of paper. These habits are so important to do, because when you're doing this on a consistent basis, you can start to identify, wait a minute, this is something that I'm consistently doing that I didn't even realize that I was doing, that I need to stop doing because it's not allowing me to grow. It's not allowing me to be positive in my business. It's not allowing me to have that motivation to continue doing things a certain way, right? It's preventing me from growth. You need to be able to identify those things, okay? And then the last part here is, how can you get a better result, right? What can you do better? Well, when you're doing your reverse engineering, when you're reflecting and you're identifying and then going through and reverse engineering, this whole process is essentially analyzing what went well, what didn't, what can we do now? What's the action plan? What is the implementational thing that you can do to change your results, to change what wasn't working, to do just a little bit better, even if it's just one stepping stone ahead? What can we do better than what we did yesterday? Okay. These are very simple things that you can start to incorporate, but you will never be able to have that growth if you're not constantly doing these things. I do them myself. I'm never going to teach something in here that I don't incorporate myself. There are times I send out messages, and there are times where I'll sit down and I'll get all my productivity stuff done, and I'll sit down at the end of my day and I'll go do this, right? Or even at the end of my month, and I'll sit down and I'll go through this process and I'll think, man, my follow-ups were not really solid. I was really skimpy on my follow-ups, but that's okay, because tomorrow I'm going to make sure I'm solid, right? I'm not going to assume that what certain people are going to say, and I'm going to stop skipping over certain people on my list. I don't know if you guys ever do that, but I've done that in the past, right? Where it's like I have a list of leads and then I skip certain people because for some reason I assume what they're going to say, or I assume what that end result is going to look like in that conversation, right? And what that really is, what I'm doing there is I'm self-sabotaging versus actually covering my ground and committing to myself and doing what I said I was going to do. Okay. So that's just a general example. Okay. Now it's the end of 2023. We're approaching the end. We're not quite at the end, but this is something that you can do to sit down and really reflect on your year. So if you want a homework assignment, something that you can implement at the end of this training and start on tonight, I want you guys to reflect on your year, identify what went well, what didn't, okay? And then start to reverse engineer, okay? And I don't want you to leave anything out, by the way. This might take a little bit of a process. I don't want you to leave anything out. I want you to start thinking about, what does your mind go to when you start looking at the negative parts of your business? I want you to be honest with yourself on this key factor here. Do you go into the negative to the point where you self-sabotage? Do you go into the negative to the point where you start to kind of recognize, right, and hear yourself sabotaging yourself and saying how you're not good at this and who am I to think this way, or imposter syndrome, right? Self-dialogue is it's so important when it comes to your growth, okay? If you're telling yourself this doesn't work, this isn't working, I've tried this. If you're sarcastic with yourself, if you're sarcastic in public or in the comment section, right, then that's an indicator of why you're not successful, because that's the energy you're putting out into the universe, and the universe is returning the favor to you, right? That's not how life works. You can't just kind of show up and give the negative and expect something positive in return, because then you're not ready for the positive. So of course, positive is going to skip over you and it's going to go to the next person that's trying to manifest it. Okay. So I want you to be really honest with yourself when you're doing this reflect, identify, and reverse engineering. What you're not going to do in this exercise is, you're not going to write off a strategy just because you tried it one time and it didn't work for you, okay? Or maybe because you tried it one time and you didn't know all the details of it and you willy-nilly'd it and it didn't really pan out for you. You're not going to self-sabotage. You're not going to talk negatively to yourself. You're going to look for the opportunities. Okay. That's what you're doing. You're self-analyzing, looking for the opportunities, and then you're going to be doing better. You're going to make a plan to do better. Okay. That is what we are doing. And you're not also, here's what you're not going to do is you're not going to question your talent or your ability. Each and every one of you that's here watching this training, and each and every one of you that have that attended tonight's training and that's working their business and making an effort, there's nothing wrong with your talent. There's nothing wrong with you, okay? It's not that people don't want your products. It's not that people don't want to be a part of your ecosystem. It's not that people, don't like you or they don't like MLMs, or maybe that's a little bit of a portion of it, right? Who cares? It is your mindset. It is your mindset. It is 100% your mindset. And it's so easy to go into the negative versus to go into the positive. It's much easier to do that. That's why it takes a ton of strength, right? To be motivated. It takes a ton of strength to be excited and to have that good energy, unless you're just naturally that way. But not everybody's naturally that way. So that's what you're not going to do. You're not going to write it off. You're not going to self-sabotage. You're not going to question yourself. You are going to make a plan for yourself to be better, to do better, so that you can start honing in on your skill set. So you can start getting better at it, so that when 2024 comes around, you're ready to go. You are dialed in. Okay. And if you need help with this process, by the way, I have a 2024 planning intensive that's right around the corner. So if you're on my email list, make sure to look out for your emails, because registration is going to be like this long. It's literally going to open and it's going to close. It's going to be very, very quick. So I want to let you know that we have this incredible 2-day planning intensive that's right around the corner. So make sure to pay attention to your email so that you can sign up for it. You're going to be able to work with me personally, and it's going to be amazing. We're going to have a workbook, and we're going to help you get yourself ready to go, geared up, organized, planned out, okay? And just ready to take on 2024, all right? Okay, so that's number 1, reflect, identify, reverse engineer. Number 2, okay, this is a really, really big one. Leverage tools that save us time, money, effort, and energy. Some of you guys are really slacking in this department, and I say that with love, okay? I say that with love. Some of you guys are not leveraging tools. So what you're doing is you're sitting down trying to figure out what to do in your business on a daily basis. You do get some things done, but then you have this mountain of things that still haven't been done yet, that are delayed, and it's making you anxious. It's making you feel behind. It's making you feel less accomplished. It's demotivating you, and you feel all over the place. If you feel all over the place, comment below and let me know. However, if you are leveraging tools, and if you do feel organized and you don't feel behind and you feel ahead of the game, also comment below, because I'd love to recognize you guys and acknowledge you guys for doing that. Now, are you a bad person because you're not leveraging tools? No, that's not what I'm saying. However, if we have been operating a certain way, and at this very moment, okay, you are feeling exhausted, drained, okay, maybe unmotivated, not as excited as you once were about your business. And if you're not excited going into the new year, if you're feeling these kind of feelings, then you might be a little bit burned. And that's a problem. That means that we need to be seeing what it is that you're doing in your business, identifying what's not working, figure out where you're wasting time, and we need to change that. We need to leverage tools, my friends, okay? You need to leverage the right tools. Anything that takes you more, okay, let me word this correctly. How do you know when you actually need a tool for something? That's a question that I've received in the past, so like several times, okay? How do you know when you actually need a tool for something in your business? If it is taking you way too much time and it's not letting you get anything else done, okay? If it's just taking you a massive amount of time and it just feels like it's no end. If it's taking you a lot of money, all right? If you're making you spend a ton of money, if it's making you put in so much effort to the point where you're too exhausted to really do anything else or put your focus in on anything else, even though those other things are just as important. And if it's draining your energy to the point where when you're watching this video and you're watching me right now and you feel drained and exhausted and lost, then it's time for a tool. It is time for a tool, my friend. Okay. So what are some examples of tools? Content templates. Stop making content on your own. Just flat out utilize a tool. Okay. What do we have? We have content templates. Utilize content templates. All right. Don't start doing things from scratch if you know you don't have the time to do them. Another thing is another tool that you need to be leveraging is scheduling software. All right. Are you sitting here and just copy pasting everything and it's taking you a year and a half to do things, right? You need to be able to plan things ahead of time. Sitting down in one place and taking 15, 20 minutes to actually schedule out your entire month, that saves you a ton of time because now your content is the last thing that you're worried about. And when your content is the last thing that you're worried about, then you can focus on what actually matters and what actually grows your business, which is the connections, the conversations, right? It's the connections and the conversations that create the conversions. All right. Content, yes, it's important. But if you're spending all of your time and then some on your content, you have a problem. You have a problem. We need to fix that. You need to leverage a tool. Okay. What's another tool that you can leverage? Systems, right? All sorts of different systems, whether it's communication systems, okay, so that you can get your DMO done a little bit faster, whether it is follow-up systems, maybe it's getting people on your list and realizing that if you have a big customer base or even some sort of a customer base, instead of sitting down and doing the individual thing, what can everybody receive that's going to allow them to know what's coming up, what to be attending if you do weekly signature events in your VIP groups, right? If you want your people to be paying attention to a certain thing like stocking stuffers, things like that, what tools are you leveraging? What systems are you utilizing to allow you to communicate more effectively? Okay. Do you have a list of scripts that you have set and planned out for you so that when you are doing some of these repetitive conversations, how are you saving time with that? Are you just recreating words every single time? Or are you utilizing systems? Are you utilizing your scripts that you've saved in your boards? Are you utilizing tools like boards? Or are you wasting time? Okay. Another helpful thing here when it comes to leveraging tools, you know you need a tool if you're doing something in your business that is so repetitive over and over and over again, right? Then that needs a tool. That needs a tool. If it's consistently over and over and over again, like onboarding a new person, you're basically going to be going through the same thing, right? Or when you get a new customer, what's that follow-up process look like? Okay. Your first day all the way to 12 months. Do you have that systemized? That's just another example. Anything that's repetitive needs to be systemized. And if you don't have a system for it, then you are just wasting time. Okay. That is a fact. All right. So number 2, make sure that you're leveraging the tools that are going to save you time, money, effort, and energy. Because one of the things that you do need to have in your business that should not be taken for granted is your time and your energy. Time and energy. Okay. You need the energy in order for you to show up as the best version of yourself, the version that people are attracted to, the version that people want to communicate with, they want to spend time with, that want to spend money with you, that want to join your team. And if your energy is not there, my friend, the other person on the other side of the screen, they can feel it. So what are you doing right now that is taking up so much of your energy that you just don't feel on it? Okay. You got to ask yourself that question. And then time. If your time is going in all the wrong places, but you think it's the right places, but it's really the wrong places, okay, then that's a big problem too. Because then if you're just wasting time in your business, how are you going to move forward, right? How are you going to move forward? So it's very important, number 2, to leverage the right tools. Again, we've got our 2024 planning intensive that's coming up. Make sure to check your emails. Don't miss registration for that. So I'll show you how to do all of that. Number 3, Okay. Number 3, and this kind of goes into number 2 a little bit, but it's so important. And I wanted to make this a key point because, again, I have a lot of conversations with you guys. You guys leave a lot of comments. I read almost every single comment. Okay. If the comments are like 30 to 50 comments, I can sit there comfortably and read all of them. If it's more than that, it's hard because then I have to go live and I have to go and play catch up. And so by the time it's like 11:30, I can actually go through and read all the comments. Especially if it's like really busy. But this is one that I know that a lot of you guys are struggling with based on the comments that I read in this group. Number 3 is preparing today for tomorrow's opportunities. Too many of you are willy-nillying your business. Okay. And you heard me say that at the beginning of this training. Willy-nilly. What I mean by willy-nilly is just like you fly by the seat of your pants. You see a post, you like it, you copy it, you paste it in your group that day. Okay. You see something that inspires you in a training, you take what their idea is and maybe you post it that day, right? Maybe you have a plan of tasks for the day and it all changes, right? Because you saw something or you heard something and something shiny object syndrome came about. Yes. All right. And so your whole plan changes. Okay. Willy-nillying your business. Going into your month with 0 bookings on your calendar. That's called willy-nillying your business. Going into your month without having anything scheduled or planned out, including your parties, including your events, including your content strategy, okay, your captions, things that are supposed to be pretty much prepared ahead of time for you. That's called willy-nillying your business. Going into your business on a day-to-day basis, on a month-to-month, on a yearly basis, unprepared, and if you're not preparing for tomorrow's opportunities, you are setting yourself back and you're literally throwing money away. Right? All the money that you're trying to manifest and all the opportunities you're trying to manifest, what you're doing is you have like a shield up and you're just like blocking it from it reaching you. Do you guys understand that? You have to prepare yourselves. You got to know what you're doing when you go into 2024. What does your January look like? You don't have to know what the promos and the sales of your business are. You did it for those of you that may be thinking, well, I don't know what we're going to be selling. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is that is the primary focus or what sale is going to be launching. You are your own business owner. You are your own person in charge of your business, of your brand. Who cares what your company's offering? My company sometimes does sales that I don't advertise all the sales because I'm like, my people wouldn't really be into that, right? I'm not going to market that. Okay. And so I do what I want to do. And if there's a sale that I want to jump on board, cool. I'll jump on that board with them. Right. But I don't market every single thing. I only focus on certain products. Right. I only focus on my hero products. So how do you prepare yourself for tomorrow's opportunities? You got to know what you're doing in January. What weekly signature events do you have planned for January? What's your big focus? What value are you going to be you focusing in on in the month of January? What are people going to care about starting off in the year? And I'm not talking about selling your products. That's going to be on the back end. I'm talking about what value are you going to be delivering into your community in January? What do people need to hear in January? Cool. What are you going to be doing in February? What are you going to be doing in March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, next December? If you don't have any of that planned ahead, then you need to be sitting down and thinking about how can I prepare myself, right? How can I plan ahead of time what events I'm going to be throwing, what my focus points are going to be on, okay? And how I'm going to be growing my business. How am I going to be growing my group? How am I going to be growing my lists, my priorities? What's going to be helping me grow in 2024? Those are some really common things that you want to ask yourself. And the last of those things that you should be focusing in on, okay, on a day-to-day basis is what am I going to post today? That should be like a question that you never ask yourself. If you're planning ahead, right? And you're thinking ahead and you're thinking about your business and your goals are at the priority, all right, of your business, then the last thing you should be doing is waking up on a Monday morning saying, what am I going to post today? Because that's already been done. You've planned this out. Okay. Once again, third time I'm going to tell you guys this. We have a planning intensive that's going to help you out with this. All right. So don't feel like I'm just throwing this stuff at you and you're like, I don't know what to do with it. Right. That sounds great, but I don't know what to do with it. look out for your email for this stuff. This is going to help you so, so much. And then here's my last tip. And this is one that you guys really do need to pay attention to because this has everything to do with your success. And honestly, the rest of the tips don't matter if this isn't a priority. The rest of the tips that I just shared with you, everything else I just shared with you, really is not going to mean jack squat unless you are focused and honed in on this last key portion. Okay. The last tip here for you this habit that I want you to start really focusing in on in 2024 is mindset and personal skills development. Mindset and personal skills development. These things matter. If you are not all the way in it in your business and you don't have that belief system and you're not working on your limiting beliefs on a consistent basis and you don't have a growth plan for your mindset, how can you possibly expect to do better in 2024? How can you possibly expect to see a different result in 2024? I can give you the strategy. I can tell you exactly what to do. I can tell you exactly what to say to a customer. I can tell you exactly what to do to go ahead and start recruiting people today. But if your mindset is not in the right place, you will not do it. You will not do it. There's a massive difference between having a plan of action, having a blueprint just written out for you. Here's how you make 6 figures. I can write that for you and I can give it to you. I've done that, right? So I can tell you how to do that on a step-by-step manner, right? It can be laid out for you. But if your mindset and your personal development skills are not there and you're not working on it, that plan does not matter jack squat. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Because you know what does matter is your belief that you can do it. Right? It's your mindset. This is the most important thing that you need to work on. Because if you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in your capabilities and you're not constantly working on it and you're not constantly expanding your mind, opening up your mind, challenging yourself and your mind, okay, affirming yourself, doing your visualizations, writing out your goals, knowing what it is that you want. If you don't have those things mapped out while you're working on your skill set, okay, it's going to be very difficult for you to grow. The rest of it just doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So I want to encourage you guys, if you don't have simple things that you can do, right? I want to encourage you to have something in your ear going on a daily basis. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's a book, right? Maybe in 2024, you should make it a goal to read 12 books. That's 1 book a month. That's a great goal for those of you that need help in that personal development stage, okay? Which I can tell you if you need help in personal development, okay? If you're feeling drained, exhausted, burnt out, you feel unmotivated, you feel like you suck at everything, you feel like everything you've tried doesn't work, you feel like you just don't know what to do and you're ready to throw in the towel, here's what you need to focus in on first. It's this, okay? If you're at that stage, right, that I just explained to you, the very first thing that you need to focus on is this. You can't do anything else without this first. This right here. Okay? That's what I have for you guys tonight. I hope you guys found that valuable. Hashtag value in the comment section. I want to give you one quick reminder here. Okay, I know I've repeatedly said this in the live. Look out for your emails for this planning intensive. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be working together in a live setting. All right. And I'm going to be helping you plan out the biggest things that you need to have planned out for 2024. Okay. We need to be planning out what your systems are. We need to be planning out what your content is going to look like, your pillars, right? Your goals. How are you going to get there? Okay. We need a personal development plan. We need all of these things, okay, in order for you to have the best year yet. And I have it mapped out for you in a workbook as well as that time with me. Now, if you're a current Elite Academy member and you are coaching with me, you have access for this for free. So when you see the email, please do not purchase it. If you are a current Simply Sustainable Academy member, you also have access to this workshop for free, okay? It's a free ticket for all paying members. If you are not a paying member, then you'll be able to register for a fee, and you'll be able to get that information via email when we do release it. Do you have an opportunity to join the academy, any of the academies, for you to not have to pay for that? Yes. If you decide to join, we actually have an incredible annual offer. So our Simply Sustainable Academy, which is our content and advanced training program, we give you all the content that you could need for your social media, plus incredible trainings, Monday night trainings, and a monthly coaching call. So it's a great deal. You definitely want to take advantage of that. We have a great deal on that. You probably saw the post go off tonight for that. Make sure to grab that. If you want information, or if you want a little bit of help with the details, comment below with the word academy, and then I'll send you some information on that. So make sure to check that out. That sale is going to end on December 31st. Okay. The planning intensive is set to go live, we're going to start working together on the 18th and the 19th. Okay. So we've got like this much of a window for you to get started and get rolling. So make sure to look out for the emails for that. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me this evening. I hope you got value from tonight's training. I hope, if anything, you got out of this training that, it's time to start really planning ahead for your business. Willy-nilly is just not going to get you there. You've got to create routines. You've got to create a plan. You've got to know what you want. You've got to prepare yourself for the opportunities that are ahead. These are the things that create success, okay? Posting content and making all your focus in on just content, all right? That's not going to grow your business. It's just going to grow the awareness of your business. People are going to see you more, which is great. But now you need to ask yourself, what am I going to do with this content? Okay. How do I take this content and create conversions from it? Because there's a way you can do that. But you have to be focused in on those income producing activities on a daily basis. So I hope that this training was helpful, guys. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys for being on here tonight, and I will see you guys next time. All right, guys. See y'all later.